These two are mother and son duo who arrived as a foster situation and somehow managed to completely take over one person's home, heart, and sleep schedule. This is the story of Fiona and Tiny Taylor. It began with an Instagram post. A scrappy stray mama cat had been found with 4 tiny kittens, desperately in need of somewhere safe to land. Her new foster had never owned a cat in her life, but something about that post made her think, 1 month. How hard could it be? The answer, as it turns out, was very hard and heartbreaking, and also completely, utterly worth it. When Fiona first arrived, she was a shadow of what she would become. Dirty fur, crusty ears, visibly malnourished, and still nursing 2 remaining kittens after 2 had lost their battle for life. She was exhausted and fragile, carrying far more than any creature her size should have to carry. And yet she ate, she nursed, she kept going, because that's who Fiona is. The first week, her new foster mom barely took her eyes off her. Fiona didn't do much, but there was something magnetic about watching her, a tenderness that didn't seem to belong to a cat who had clearly known so little tenderness herself. After years on the streets, through whatever she had survived, she was still so full of love. Then the major heartbreak arrived. About 10 days in, one of the 2 remaining kittens didn't make it. He was simply too small, too weak. Fiona picked up her remaining baby and began carrying him from room to room, searching for somewhere safe, somewhere no one could take him. It was instinct, it was grief, and it was one of the most devastating things to witness. But the next morning, something remarkable happened. Fiona padded over and settled right next to her foster mom, with her only kitten tucked close beside her. No hiding, no distance, just an enormous, wordless act of trust, as if she wanted to say, "I choose you. Watch over us." There was no coming back from that. The paperwork started almost immediately. Fiona and Tiny were no longer fosters. They were home. Now, about those ears. Shortly after arriving, tests confirmed what the vet had suspected. Fiona had skin cancer in both ears. She went through not 1 but 2 surgeries, the second only after confirming that the first ear's outcome had been worth repeating. It was terrifying every single time. The kind of fear her mom has said that she'd never felt before for anything, and suspects she'll never quite feel again. But Fiona came through. She always comes through. Today, she is completely free of carcinoma, earless and entirely unbothered by it, surveying her kingdom from whatever elevated surface she has most recently claimed. She looks like a tiny regal sphinx who simply decided ears were optional. And then there is Tiny Taylor. The name feels like a joke now because Tiny is not tiny anymore. He has grown into a large, loud, wonderfully chaotic cat who somehow towers over his mother and weighs nearly twice as much as her. He talks back. He has opinions and he communicates them loudly, especially at 4 or 5 in the morning, which is when he prefers to begin his day and consequently everyone else's. Alarm clocks have become entirely redundant in this household. He was the only kitten in his litter to survive, which perhaps explains something about the energy he brings to being alive. He treats every moment like it's worth making noise about. He zooms, he vocalizes, he demands cuddles with the kind of intensity that can only be described as a personal emergency. When someone comes home, Tiny is on the floor rolling around and meowing before the door has fully opened. And yet, for all that wild, caffeinated energy, there is a gentleness to him that catches you off guard. He curls up at night next to his human. He gets visibly worried when she cries. For a cat who seems to operate at maximum volume and velocity at all times, he has an uncanny ability to sense when stillness is what's needed, and he shows up for it. He also, to his mother's great dedication, still gets full baths by Fiona on a regular basis. She will groom him with the kind of thoroughness that only a mother could muster, continuing until he finally pulls away in protest. There's something that Fiona's mom said that has stuck. A cat that plays, makes mischief, and vocalizes is a cat with zero worries. An anxious cat goes quiet, conserves energy, stays small. A cat making chaos is a cat that feels safe. By that measure, Fiona and Tiny Taylor are two of the safest cats alive. Fiona, who had every reason to fear humans, to stay guarded, to keep her distance, now has a dedicated iPad screen set up for birdwatching and plays with toys like she's making up for lost time. Because she is. She went from a cat who didn't know how to play to the most enthusiastic participant in her own life. She earned every nap, every sunbeam, every ridiculous toy. She earned all of it. And Tiny, he never knew a life without safety, because Fiona and his human mom made sure of that. He came into the world fighting, survived against the odds, and grew up into a cat who has never once had to wonder if he is loved. It shows in everything he does. The woman who took them in for a month and never gave them back will tell you that life would be less magical without them. The 4 a.m. wake-ups, the complete loss of alone time, the bilateral vet appointments and the surgeries and the late-night worrying. None of it feels like a cost. It feels like they finally made everything click into place. They were both supposed to be temporary, but they became everything. And if you ever needed proof that the best things in life arrive unannounced, underfed, and slightly crusty, you have it in Fiona and Tiny Taylor.